Listen, you've been a Kylie fan for a very long time, haven't you, Claire?
I have a long, long time since the beginning.
Since the beginning. I heard it. Someone said since you were 4 years old. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, since I was four.
Incredible. Well, you've watched a spectacular career, haven't you? And you were at one of her shows in the UK recently, and it was a pretty special moment for you and your family, I understand.
It was just we'd never dreamt, that it would be what it turned out to be. But I think as I started to watch the tour, particularly in Australia and then over in America and stuff, you could see. All I watched was the B stage moments. I didn't watch any of the rest of the tour because I didn't want to ruin it. But I was just watching bits of the B stage, thinking, "Wow, this is like really special."
So, what I noticed, and tell me if I'm wrong, on your son Leo, who's 9 years old, you've dressed him up as Jason Donovan. Sorry, I'm laughing because I haven't said it out
Yeah.
loud before. It's very cool, but not only did you dress him up like Jason Donovan, but it's the back cover of the Especially for You. I think. Am I wrong or am I right?
Yeah, correct. So we'd spoken quite a bit. Leo's a big fan, by the way. He's not. I mean, he is a fan because I am, if you get what I mean.
Of
But he's
course.
very much involved with all the songs. He knows all the songs. He would give a true fan a run for their money in a contest of naming the songs and stuff. And he's watched some of the tours with me and stuff on DVD and things. But yeah, we were just sat having dinner one day, and then we were talking about what he was potentially going to wear, and I was like, well, you need a t-shirt, Leo, because we're all going to probably wear like tour t-shirts and stuff like that. And then he said, just one day at dinner, I think I'll dress as Jason Donovan.
Oh,
And we were like, oh, okay. And we sort of laughed about it first. And then after a while, we thought, actually, this might be a really good idea. So we actually looked at some old photos. I've still got my old Too Many Broken Hearts vinyl. So we pulled that out and had a look at the picture and then did a bit of digging on Google and then had a look at some of the old pictures of him and Kylie together. And yeah, I said the hat, it's got to be the hat, because the hat's sort of like iconic, isn't it, really, from that era. So
yeah.
yeah, we ordered a few bits and pieces. Leather jacket, he was excited about the leather jacket. And then when it arrived and he put it on, I was like, this is great. Do you know what I mean? Like, he looked really good in it.
Yeah.
And so I knew we'd made the right decision. And then it was my husband who actually said, oh, you need a banner. Perhaps it should say something like, I dressed as Jason especially for you. And we loved that. I wrote that straight down. And obviously, I think at one point we were thinking about whether we should do a song request, like whether we should ask for a different song. So that was before all the Jason stuff happened, but it kind of just spiraled from there, really.
Fantastic idea, though, and I could tell that whoever I saw the footage of Leo before I knew about you, for example, being a fan yourself. But as soon as I saw little Leo's outfit, I thought, yeah, he's got a family member who really remembers what 1989 was like
Yeah,
because he.
100%. I mean, like, it wasn't. I didn't do it because of getting her attention as such. I did it for nostalgia because I had Kylie and Jason stuff. I had all of it. Posters, I had a jigsaw, I had all the annuals and stuff, like the old 80s stuff. I had a jumper that had Kylie on it. I've still got the picture, I think. Yeah, so, as I said, he'd got his outfit sorted. I'd kind of thought that I would like wear an outfit as well. So I went for the time bomb outfit and got all the bits
You
sorted for that, the
didn't.
leather jacket, and
Oh, that part.
yeah, I
Sorry, I
did.
thought
And
I,
I
I
had
thought you meant the other costume from the video, the
no,
one.
no, that would have been a bit strange.
Yes.
Um, Leo's laughing next to me about that. Yeah, so no, I went for time bomb in the end for mine, but I think one of the things that when we kind of got into the arena, they kind of liked the fact that we'd made an effort. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that turn up in outfits, and it's so lovely to see. And we'd noticed actually when she came over to the UK that she was getting children up on the stage actually, and Leo was saying, "Oh, I might have a chance. Maybe she'll get me up. Maybe she'll give me a hug." But we just never thought it would be to the extent that it has been. I think looking at some of the B stage clips, I think he's been on the stage probably the longest out of anyone. I don't know. There's probably stats on it somewhere, but I think watching it, I was like, gosh, he was up for a long time.
Yeah, well, not everyone who gets chosen gets put on the stage. I was actually just talking about that on the show last week, saying some of the Wild Roses just get serenaded staying there in the crowd. Some get brought up. So it was a pretty amazing moment, wasn't it, really? And can I ask, what was it?
It really was, yeah.
I know you're going to let me have a quick chat with Leo in a second, but as his mum and as a super Kylie fan yourself, what was it like watching him get plucked out of the audience like that? I mean, what was going through your mind and your heart?
It was just crazy. I mean, we kind of hoped for the Wild Rose, if I'm honest. Like, I think that was what we were hoping to get him towards the front. And I think, as I said, because we'd watched sort of London and Manchester and Sheffield and stuff, and different children were being selected, so to speak. I think that's what we were hoping for, and that's why a few days before we went to a little craft shop and we bought this little crochet rose. And Leo said, well, maybe I could give her a wild rose, like, in return, if I get the wild rose.
He's got good ideas, this lad, doesn't he?
He has got good ideas, yeah. And then he made a little tag and stuff for her, and we sat at the dinner table and did this little tag, and he wrote it all out and made it himself. So, but we didn't think, obviously, he'd be going up on the stage to give it her. We thought it would just be passed over. But yeah, as soon as she came over and spoke to him, it was just amazing. And then obviously she was like, I want to see the full outfit. And we were just all shocked, I think. We were like, oh my goodness. And then, the security people let him out and up onto the stage. And I mean, I saw all of it from the back, and it's been amazing for me to see all the videos and photos from the front, and all of the kind of like fans have been amazing as well, like sending me all of that. We have such a lovely Kylie community of fans, and I've been speaking to fans online for quite a while, some that I met at the concert, like Efrat, for example, Jeff from Denver, he's amazing, and they were all just so lovely about it, like all rooting for Leo as well. And I think having all of those videos and photos meant I was able to enjoy the moment. I didn't record it myself. I just stood and enjoyed it.
Certainly didn't need to, did you? There was 15,000 other people doing it for you. And I'm so glad you point out the Kylie community has always been strong, but I think as we're getting older too and are so proud of Kylie, it's becoming more and more loving by the year. It really is. And the Tension Tour is a pinnacle for the fan community I'm talking about. Like we've really come together. So it's absolutely amazing. Look, if it's okay, I know it sounds like little Leo might be listening. Am I able to have a quick chat with Leo?
He is listening, yeah. Of course, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. Hey, Time to Talk family. This is Tim Power, host of the podcast where amateurs talk about icons. To keep our show commercial free, we rely on your support. Many of you have chucked in just a couple of bucks, or sometimes more, which lets Time to Talk Australia pay its way. There's no obligation, of course. Keep listening to us no matter what. Liking and sharing our content is also a huge help. But if you do hear something that you like and you think you can support the show by throwing in a couple of bucks, head to patreon.com/Time to Talk Australia. The link is in the description of this podcast.
Hi Tim and Time to Talk listeners, this is Danny from Melbourne, and I'd just like to say your latest podcast made me very angry.
And as always, we want your voice memos. If you've heard something that you agree with, or possibly you're outraged, and let's be fair, many of you listen simply to be outraged, then take out your phone and record a voice memo. Cap it at around the 2-minute mark, and then send it to me. I listen to all the voice memos that come through, and occasionally we include them in the show. Our email is timetotalkaustralia@outlook.com. Thanks for sharing, rating, contributing, and donating to this very little podcast from Down Under.
I genuinely love our Little Time to Talk family because lovers of pop are an endangered species. So, why don't we go extinct together?
So that's all I have to say. Get off the airwaves, you're such an amateur.
Hello there.
Oh, g'day, Leo. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
How did it feel, Leo, when she started to look and you started to realise Kylie's looking at me? How did that make you feel?
It just really made me feel like, because it was my first concert, I was kind of like, well, I was a little bit nervous actually to the start, but then my confidence grew up. So in the end, it was really good.
And this, I've got to tell you, I was about your age when I went to my first concert, and my first concert was Kylie as well. It was called the Enjoy Yourself Tour. And I remember thinking, this is so loud. Like, I loved it, but it was so loud. So even before she came and spoke to you, what were you thinking of the show?
I mean, I did say to her, it's fantastic when she asked me that, and it was fantastic and up until that point. And then it just went on absolutely beyond that point after.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So your mum was telling me it was your idea to dress like Jason Donovan. Is that right?
Yes?
Yeah. How did you come up with that idea? I'm thinking you must listen to a lot of Kylie and Jason.
Well, the Especially For You song I hadn't listened to for quite a long time, but I was thinking of the other so-called men that Kylie did songs with.
Yep.
And then I was thinking like Enrique Iglesias, Jack Severetti and everyone. And then I came up with Jason Donovan because I didn't actually think of that one for a few days. And then it came into my mind.
Well, it was a clever idea. Like you say, if you go through all the males that she's sung songs with, there's a lot to choose from, isn't there? You could have even went as Robbie Williams, but you landed on the original duet.
You saying Robbie Williams made me just think, we didn't think of that.
No, we didn't think of that.
Yeah, well, you would have had to get out leather pants, and it's probably not so good, my friend. Probably not so good. Can you tell me a bit about what did Kylie say to you when you went up on the stage? I know that I've watched it a lot of times from many different angles, but do you remember what Kylie was saying to you when you were on the stage?
Vaguely, yes. So she pulled me up and she first actually said, I take my time reading signs, which was really funny. And then she said, if we haven't got a curfew, I want to see the full outfit. So I went up on the stage and then I handed her the crocheted rose that we bought. And then she pulled me over like to the center of the stage because we were like by the steps at that point. And then she said to me, do you want to sing Especially For You? And I was like, maybe. And then she said, you don't have to sing. And I was like, okay then.
I think he was glad that he didn't have to sing the full duet, to be honest, even though he knows all the words. I think when you're put on the spot like that, it's so hard, isn't it?
It's so fun that you're both talking about that moment because, look, Leo, I'm going to be honest with you. I dream of being dragged up on the stage with Kylie, but in none of my dreams does she ask me to sing. So I remember thinking, oh my goodness, the first time I watched it, she's asking poor Leo to duet. I didn't know how you might feel about that. So it was a relief when she just did it herself, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then if you listen carefully to once after the crowd sings, you can hear my voice slightly.
Yeah.
And then she kind of just holds the mic near in front of me, and then I don't even realise. I'm just like so engrossed in the song, I just don't even realise.
Oh, so she was a little bit sneaky. She heard you singing a little bit, and she put the microphone right under your mouth. Sneaky Kylie.
I think she meant to do that in the end, maybe in case I wanted to be a backing singer.
Actually, you have a lovely voice. I did hear you, and you were right in tune. But I'll tell you what, you weren't the only one singing. The whole stadium or the whole arena was singing, weren't they?
Oh yeah, definitely. I could, when she sung her bit, she held the mic towards the crowd, and I could literally hear them all singing. She didn't ask individual people to sing. Say someone was right at the back, then we wouldn't even hear. That was quite funny.
It was amazing, mate. Can I ask, might sound like a strange question, but is it very noisy when you're on the stage with all those people sort of cheering? Like, is it really noisy?
Yes, definitely. Because Kylie's been doing this for God knows how many years now, and she's used to it. I am not.
That's right. That's why I was asking. I'm thinking it's all good for Kylie. She gets that everywhere she goes. When she goes down to the supermarket to get a loaf of bread, people are cheering. But Leo, you don't get cheers like that all the time. It must have been overwhelming, but you handled it like a pro.
Well, yeah, we couldn't even get out the arena without people stopping us.
Is that what happened?
At least once or twice.
So when the show finished...
So soon as...
Go ahead.
When the show finished, people came up to our seats, and then when we got out the stage part, people pulled us to a side actually once. So as soon as we actually got out the doors, we were in front of the doors, and somebody asked for a picture, and I ended up signing their banner.
They were asking for your autograph?
Well, yeah, a little bit.
That is so cool. You felt like a bit of a rock star for a little while. And what have people been saying to you since? Like, have lots of people written to you? Have people, I don't know, at school seen the footage as well?
Oh, yeah, people at school have definitely seen the footage, but I haven't been written to yet.
Lots of people have written to me, though, Tim.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, lots of people writing to your mum and saying, congratulations, Leo, including me. I was one of those because I was so impressed by the way you handled yourself up there, because I'd be crying like a baby, if I'm going to be honest. What are people saying at school?
Oh, they're really, really... they're saying I'm lucky, and I am really, because she could have pulled up any person by the B stage in that arena there. But because we had a bit of a clever trick, didn't we? So he posted me and my outfit on her social media page.
Before.
Well, we did earlier in the day, didn't we?
Well, yeah.
We don't know. This is what we don't know. We don't know whether her team are looking for fans. Do you know what I mean? Like we have no idea whether it's connected or not. And
well,
it'd be interesting to see what some of the other B stage people think.
We are asking the same question on this podcast, right from, because she started the tour in Australia, and we were asking the same thing. Even if it's not from socials, although it could be, we do know that they scan the crowd with the cameras before the show starts, right? So you could be being filmed beforehand.
Oh.
So who knows? But other people are saying it's spontaneous. And to be honest with you, Leo, your idea of giving her a rose, because as we know, Kylie gives the rose, but your idea of saying, actually, I'd like to give her one, that's a beautiful idea. And you came up with that.
I ended up coming up with it, and I seem to have set the tone, haven't I?
Yeah.
Because people are now bringing, like, envelopes and, like, freshly cut roses now to shows around the B stage. So I seem to have set the tone.
You did set the tone. You've started a new trend. Before you go, Leo, you've been very generous talking to me. Thank you very much. What's your favourite Kylie album? Do you have a favourite Kylie album or song?
Yeah, I do. Fever's my favourite, I would think.
You're a man of good taste. That's really good. Is there a track on Fever that's your favourite?
Well, it has to be Can't Get You Out of My Head.
Has to be, doesn't it? Has to
All
be.
Love at First... Yeah. All Love at First Sight, I'm umming between them both because I can't really decide.
Fair enough. You know, Leo, I know you love Kylie, but I've got 2 kids of my own, and they've had no choice since the moment they were born. Even when I was cradling them, they were listening to Kylie songs and Kylie albums. Is it fair to say you've been listening to Kylie since you were born?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Indoctrination. For a good cause, though. Thank you, Leo, for talking to me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I loved that hat, mate. I loved it. I loved it a lot. So, Claire, what's
Thank you.
Yeah, nice meeting you, Leo. You did a great job. Congratulations. You'll have that memory for life. And by the way, not every concert's going to be as good as that one. Just putting things into
No,
perspective
we've
for
set
you.
the bar now, haven't we? That's the
Totally.
problem. Yeah.
Every time he goes to a concert, he'll expect to be on the stage.
Dressed as Jason, especially for you. Let's do especially for you together. Tonight, forever and always, for you. Thank you so much.
Claire, are you going to any more tension shows yourself?
So I actually went to the one on Thursday at Birmingham again, but with my husband this time.
Mm-hmm.
Leo was a school night for Leo, so he didn't go a second time. But the arena in Birmingham is actually 12 minutes from my house.
Oh, wow.
So it would be stupid not to go twice. But no, I'm not going to any more.
Actually, was that wasn't her final show, was it? I don't think.
I think it was last night, wasn't it? It was Glasgow.
Yes.
Last night. The final UK one. Yeah. So then she's off to Europe, isn't she? I've got some friends who are going to Poland, actually. So I hope they have a good time. But yeah, I think my 2 nights was very special. And I was at the front by the stage on Thursday. So it was nice to see it from a different perspective as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you're not going to be able to top those 2 nights you had. And I never even asked you, Claire, where does Tension Tour fit in the landscape of Kylie tours from your point of view?
So, funnily enough, Leo is younger than me seeing Kylie. I didn't actually see her until I was about 17.
Oh.
There just wasn't, I know, there wasn't an opportunity to go to a concert before then. And the first time I saw her, I actually won tickets to the Brit Awards where she did the Can't Get You Out of My Head performance.
You were there?
I know, I was there, yeah. And I'm actually in the minority, I think, because you couldn't buy tickets for it.
No.
They were only winners or people from the music industry at the Brits at that point. It's different now because anybody can go. But
I've never met anyone who was at that performance. I've never. So what was that like? Because obviously it's one of her most iconic performances. What was it like to be there? Was the vibe as strong as it comes across on the TV?
It was incredible. Yeah, it was at Earl's Court, which was a very, very small venue. And it was, like I said, just winners had tickets, and music industry people were there, and that was it. I remember the atmosphere being so good, and obviously she opened it. And then my first actual tour was Showgirl, which was in 2005.
That's a good starting point.
So,
that was spectacular.
Yeah. I mean, it's so difficult to choose after that because they're all amazing. I mean, I saw Aphrodite in Manchester, which was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed Golden, I must admit. I know some people don't think that's the best era, but I just thought it was lovely and a brilliant concert. But I don't think we can top this one.
Oh, wow. So this is straight to the top of the list, you reckon? Yeah?
I mean, I'm kind of biased, aren't I? Because we had our moment with her. So it's difficult to top that one. But
absolutely.
I have to say Hyde Park last year was brilliant as well. So
yeah, you guys have been quite blessed over there with the different variety of shows she's done for you, right? Hyde Park, and then there was obviously Glastonbury, at some point, like over the last 5 or so years, very blessed.
Yeah, we are. We're very lucky. And I think that's one of the other things that we, as Kylie fans, like we take the bull by the horn, so to speak, because you just don't know. I mean, look at what happened with COVID. you just don't know when the last time might be. Do you know what I mean? That you're able to go and see her. So
Yeah.
I think that's why everybody's been a lot more, and obviously she's spoken about it in the tour as well, hasn't she? And I have to say, Infinite Disco is the best tour I've never been to. The best, performance I've never been to. It was fantastic to watch. I thought it was an incredible piece of a performance piece.
It was
I
so
don't know
creative.
what you think, but
Absolutely. No, so creative.
it was fantastic.
Part music video. I mean, we were all locked away and it was so special. And plus disco, what an album, right? Like for me, I was so giddy with excitement at having that album. So yeah, it was a really interesting thing to do. No other artist, as far as I know, did something similar during that period. So good on her and good on the team. A lot of effort went into that. But that's where we got the first look at the Slow with the what was it, mashup with is it David Bowie, isn't it? The first time we heard that. So yeah, a lot of treasures came out of that one.
Yeah, definitely. And I actually thought I'd already, so to speak, already had my moment with her, because last year, when she was doing all the Tension kind of promotion, I ended up speaking to her on Capital FM radio, which was in October, I think.
What, you phoned in?
And I ended up being on the radio speaking to her. Well, they actually phoned me because they were like, "Who wants to play this game with Kylie?" And I'd actually just had a major operation and I was laid up at home listening to all these promo things going on. They were like, "Oh, who wants to play this game with Kylie?" And I texted by WhatsApp. And literally my phone rang straight away and I was like, oh my God. They ended up putting me through to her in the studio and I played this sort of like live camera action thing with her, which was really good. I don't know whether you've seen it.
No. What was that one?
It was around at the time.
I watch all of it and I can't remember. It might come to me. What was the game? What did you have to do?
So basically she had to tell a series of stories and I had to figure out which one was the truth.
Oh, lies, camera
and two
action.
of them were lies.
I got it.
Yeah, lies, camera action. Yeah. And I got it wrong. But what was funny about it was she actually loved the fact that I got it wrong. Which
because
kind
she
of made
you.
up for it in a way, because she was so happy. Yeah, she tricked me. And she said it was to do with her all of her, acting performances over the years. She was able to trick me, so it was really funny. I'll send you a link to the YouTube video.
I'd love
it ended up being on YouTube at the end. So that was great for me because I could see her reaction, whereas obviously at the time it was just on the phone. That's really good.
Wonderful. Wow, you are she is really connecting with the fans at the moment, isn't she? And it's, and you've been blessed, 2 huge events. It's been lovely talking to you, Claire. I love finding a fan who's been around for as long as I have, and I particularly like finding a fan who's spent a lifetime indoctrinating their children into the Minogue world. Because I know how it is. With me, one, I got on board, the other one absolutely the opposite way. I must have gone too hard too soon. She's out. She doesn't want to know.
Oh.
But I did find one Kylie song secretly in her
now.
playlist, so that's a bit of a win.
That's brilliant. I think there are some young, there are younger fans, like early 20s.
Oh, yeah.
I've met a couple of them. I met a lovely girl called Amber, who's from London. She's only like early 20s, and she's a big fan. And actually, she had got an Impossible Princess top on. So it's lovely to see things like that, because it's not just the newer music. They're kind of going through the back catalogue.
Claire, can you please thank Leo so much for talking to me? And it's been a pleasure talking to you too. You're obviously raising a great young man there. He speaks so beautifully, doesn't he? So well done on that too, to you and your husband. And here's to Kylie.
Thank you.
Here's to Kylie. More eras to come.
100%. Yeah, we'll see you next time.